The story of the pilot, where a woman who Jerry had met out of town asked if she could stay with him. She was going to be in New York for a couple of days and wondered if she could stay with him and what all that meant.
I think, you know, we were drawn to it, whoever proposed the idea, because it was the thing that we always were drawn to, were these gaps in society where there was no rules. You know, how do you find this out? How do you ask this? What does this mean? There's no indication.
I was rolling. I thought, I love the script. I said, this is hysterical. It didn't resemble anything currently on TV. It resembled more of a feature and a sort of independent feature at that, and independent features were not in vogue at that time. So it was really off the beaten path.
We filmed the pilot and actually the next few episodes beyond the pilot, but we certainly filmed the pilot at a studio called Desilu Cahuenga.
I spent every single day of all my teenage years in the summer on the Dick Van Dyke Show, which was shot at Desilu Cahuenga. So when I heard that they were going to shoot the pilot episode of Seinfeld there, it was like, I couldn't believe it. It was like, serendipity, the planets lining up.
I was very excited that the show was shot on the same stage as the Dick Van Dyke Show. We didn't know it until Carl Reiner, who was also represented by George Shapiro, came by the show and said, you know, this is where I made the Dick Van Dyke Show. And that was like a real kind of twinkly moment.
I said, if this show has the kind of success and the kind of longevity Van Dyke had, we'd be very lucky. And the fact that we shot it on that same stage, Stage 8, it was a good luck charm, real good luck charm.
What was unique about this pilot, as opposed to the other pilots that were done that season, or pretty much any season, was this combination of the stand-up and the story.
He had a dog routine that we wanted to do in the pilot, because it was stand-up was interspersed with the action, and we put a dog in. We gave Kramer Kessler, his name was. Right. We gave him a dog,
right,
specifically so you could do a dog routine.
Right.
At the first run-through, Rob Reiner was there, and he felt that the stand-up about dogs was really unrelated to what the show was really about, and Jerry agreed, and that night went home and wrote brand new stand-up.
We wrote the dog into the show because of your routine.
Yeah.
The dog is in the pilot for no reason whatsoever now, and did not ever appear again. Kramer's dog was a one-scene wonder.
Oh, all right, good dog, all right.
Hey, he really likes you, George.
Well, that's flattering.
I am very forgiving of anything I do on film, because it's, my little internal motto is, at that time, being who I am and knowing what I knew, that's the best I could do. If I was asked to film it a week later, it'd probably be a totally different thing.
I thought Jason was so sharp and on the ball and straight to character. I was so impressed with that, because I was still mulling over how I wanted to play this character during the pilot. I wasn't sure, and I wasn't getting much feedback.
You handle any of that commercial real estate?
Well, I might be getting into that.
You keep me posted.
I'm aware of you. All right, let's go!
And Jerry was just really himself.
How could I not successfully play this part? Who could say I didn't believe you as Jerry Seinfeld?
Not only was I not aware of the pilot episode of the show, but to this day I've never seen it. And I think I'm never gonna watch it. I don't know why, it just feels superstitious.
You know, it's like watching a home movie. It's like watching yourself as a kid just running and falling and, spinning around in circles. And it should really have those, like, holes in it like a home movie has. And that's what it looks like to me.
Elaine showed up following the pilot after the show was picked up, and she, the actual character name was Eileen, and she was Jerry's platonic girlfriend.
When I got there, a lot of people knew each other. I didn't know a lot of people. So whenever, as an actor, you go to a job, and you don't know, it's like going to a new school, and you're trying to sort of suss out, who's in charge of what, and is what they say really, is that really what it means? And you're trying to find a place for yourself.
I remember Julia showed up wearing cowboy boots, and I said, ah, yes, this is our girl.
To be truthful, I really didn't like having only one scene in Mail and Bonding, or in any show where I didn't have a lot to do. That was a very difficult thing for me to digest. shall we say. But I remember in that scene, I was eating M&Ms and trying to eat them without cracking the peanut, and Jerry was very impressed. I remember that I was able to bite it without cracking the peanut, and that became a sort of all of this. Even though we were all new and we weren't doing a lot of filling in of stuff yet, certainly in the first couple of seasons of the show, that kind of being able to eat M&Ms and talk about how you're not hungry but you want to go out to eat and stuff, God, it was just yummy. Yeah, it really was. For an actor, it's like delicious.
The only thing I remember about the male unbonding table read is that Larry David gave me a small tape recorder. He wanted me to secretly tape the table reading because I'm speculating, but I believe Larry David wanted to be able to prove that laughs were got in certain places. And all I remember about the table read was having to hide this small tape recorder in it.
We wanted every show to start with the, but we decided that after male unbonding. And I think we tried to make it the male unbonding, but yeah, I've always very big on the uniformity. But there's something, one of the reasons I wanted the episodes to just be the something was because I didn't want writers wasting time on clever show titles. I wanted them working on the episodes.
The Stakeout, which was based on an incident that actually happened to me when I was with a woman who I had dated, Monica Yates, after we were dating. And we were at this restaurant, and there was this other woman who I kind of had my eye on, and I couldn't quite go into high flirt gear right in front of her. And so I knew the building, somehow in the conversation, the building she worked at, and I actually did the Stakeout move. The first mention of Art Vandelay was in the Stakeout. I don't know an Art Vandelay, it's just something that came out.
I forgot who I am. Who am I?
You're you. We're having lunch with Art Corvalet.
Vandelay.
Corvalet.
Let me be the architect. I can do it. I can do it.
It's a complete stall. The action of that scene is the girl comes in and we have to do the meeting. But the whole 4, 5, 6 pages of, you know, we're in the import-export business. What do we import? You know.
The fact that people are just hanging out in a video store looking for a tape, just talking about nonsense, nothing, God, it was so appealing. Being able to wear jeans and a jacket and sort of dress sort of like a regular person, I love that.
What do you think their parents think?
So, what's your son doing now, Dr. Stevens? Oh, he's a public fornicator.
And also there was a porno joke in the video store. And I thought that was really racy. Imagine, I sound like my grandmother. Racy. That is so racy to talk about a porno tape. But anyway, it was racy actually for its time.
In the Stakeout episode, Jerry's parents made an appearance.
And we really only had one casting session to cast the parents.
I walked into this little room and there was Jerry sitting with somebody. There was Larry David and I don't know, there was about 5 people in there, and I looked at Jerry and he smiled at me and I smiled at him and I said, I'm a fan of yours. And he said, thank you very much. And I sat down and I read and they all laughed and I left, and by the time I got home, I had the job.
No, why should we take over your apartment?
I don't care. I'm sleeping next door.
Your friend Kramer doesn't mind?
No, he's making a bouillabaisse.
Phil Bruns was cast as Morty in the original episode.
Phil did a good job. After that episode, though, Larry and Jerry wanted a harsher parent.
When we did recast, we ended up going with Barney Martin for the role.
When I went in and auditioned for Seinfeld, I had no idea that somebody else had established the part. I didn't know that at all, no. But it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, I'm happy to have gotten the part. But I think that I only went through half the audition before they said, that's enough, you know.
I had seen him in the movies that he'd done, and I knew of Barney, and I had seen him on Broadway, so it was kind of a treat.
Whenever I would watch TV, I would always notice that somebody could have a terrible illness on one show or get fired or something, and then the very next show, he's in robust health and he has another job. So nothing, from one show to the next show, there was never any continuity. Nothing ever seemed to match what went on before, as if the characters had no history. So even very early on, bringing back the woman from the stakeout into the stock tip, I don't remember them breaking up in the stakeout, and there was a woman in the stock tip, so why not make it the same woman? I know that continuity for people it was always important for me, so why not do it? There's no downside of continuity, except, of course, for people who hadn't seen the earlier episode.
The robbery was, I had this apartment on 81st Street that was getting robbed pretty regularly.
In real life, they cut right through the wall from the hallway to go into his apartment and rob it. And I remember that, and maybe that was the seed for the idea.
Look, Jerry, I'm sorry. You have insurance, right, buddy?
No.
How can you not have insurance?
Because I spent my money on the Clapco D29. It's the most impenetrable lock on the market today. It has only one design flaw. The door must be closed!
During the filming, the show had a lot of problems and something needed to be fixed. And I remember coming up with this solution to fix the story. And after I came up with that, like the next day, Castle Rock gave me like a $20,000 bonus and said to me, "You're the executive producer if the show gets picked up." And that was kind of a bit of a turning point for me.
There was an earthquake when we were shooting the Ford. It'd be interesting to know if any of the other guys remember that during rehearsal. And we all went running out.
You know, not a native Californian, but I had heard, in case of an earthquake, stand in a doorway, which I've never understood anyway, but stand in a doorway, I guess because they're reinforced and, you know, you can kind of run either way. And I guess it's, you know, my wonderful acting training. I did stand in a doorway of the set, which has no roof, and the light fixtures are swinging above me, and, you know, people are looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? I went, doorway.
I was on the phone with the head of production at the time, Jeff Stott, with Castle Rock, and we were both in a fairly heated conversation, and we both stopped immediately, and there was this pause, and then I was waiting for him to say it, but then I ended up saying, "Did you feel that?" And I looked out, and the whole palm trees were swaying. Then I looked around the corner and saw everybody running off the stage, just like it was on fire.